Welcome to the Kraft Tour Tennis Magazine. I'm Bruce Beck. On this month's show, we spend time with Belgium's own Sabine Appelmans. We'll also take a look at the latest tournament results and the changes in the rankings. Also, Betsy Nagelsen with the Nagelsen Know-How, a tip for your doubles play. And we'll take a look at Asian tennis and find out who are some of the bright young stars in the Far East. But coming up first, one of the most frightening moments in the history of tennis, the stabbing of Monica Seles. We'll take a look back at the incident and talk about security in tennis in the future. Kraft Tour Tennis Magazine is brought to you by New Capio Iced Cappuccino from Maxwell House. The thrill is the chill.
Introducing Capio Iced Cappuccino. The rich, smooth taste of cappuccino, only cooler. Capio, it's refreshment Italian style. Capio, so refreshing, so delicious. So try it. New Capio from Maxwell House. The thrill is the chill.
Anytime, any place, go fish. Anyone, any taste, go fish. Any day, any night, any size, appetite. One place does it right. Go fish.
At Long John's, get what you want any way you want it. From combo platters to baked meals, from value packs to dollar.
You can get your wings. Go fish. Long John Silver.
Go for one of our 3 great $1.99 specials. And don't forget to add a piece.
It works. Simple Green, it works. Really gets down and works.
Simple Green All-Purpose Cleaner is a powerful, economical concentrate. Full strength or with water, it can replace dozens of other cleaners. It's even non-toxic and biodegradable. Who needs harsh cleaners when there's a safe solution?
Yes, it works. Simple Green, it works. Really gets down and works. Simple Green keeps your world clean.
He said I reminded him of vanilla. Vanilla, I said. He said not the boring, so I bother vanilla. Real vanilla. Breyer's vanilla. The vanilla so potent you can find it in the dark. The vanilla with depth, dimension. He said I reminded him of that vanilla. Breyer's vanilla. And I said, why, thank you.
Pure, true Breyer's ice cream. The difference is real.
Monica Seles had been away from the tour for 63 days through illness and had begun the week talking about the benefits of that long layoff.
It was one way I look at it was good because I've been very tired after Australia and Chicago and Paris, and maybe that's why my immune system is even lower. It took me so long time to get over it, and I did want a break. Not a this long one, but it happened, and it's fine. I look forward to the few tournaments coming up.
But a few days later, Seles' season, and some suggested even her career, was in jeopardy. Seles had comfortably won her first 2 matches back, and she faced Maggie Maleva in the 3rd round. The #1 seed won the first set and led 4-3 in the second when a man shuffled past spectators in the front row of the stands and knifed Seles in the back. The attacker, later found to be a German who had no political motive for the stabbing, was overpowered, and Seles, blood seeping through her shirt from a 1-inch gash, collapsed and was taken off the court in a stretcher. The injury could have been much worse. An inch lower and the knife would have hit either the lung or the spine. After staying in a Hamburg hospital where she had an emotional visit from Kraft, Seles returned to the Stedman Hawkins Clinic in Colorado and spoke of the incident for the first time.
I just leaned forward kind of just to put the towel here and concentrate. And all I just felt was like, woo, something in my back. And I automatically went forward because I know something went in. I don't know how big it was or, and then I just saw blood coming out. And then I turned back and I just saw a guy with a knife.
At first, it was thought Seles had become another victim of the war in her native Yugoslavia. But her attacker admitted that he wanted to hurt Seles so Kraft could return to #1. Either way, Seles was critical of security and might still sue the tournament for damages.
In my opinion, I think, it has to be improved, that's for sure. And I just think, we shouldn't wait that this should happen to somebody else. I think we shouldn't have like another victim, then they're going to say, oh, you know, well, we got to improve it now. I think, you know, it just has to be different measures, I think, taken. You know, you shouldn't get paranoid, but there has to be, you know, much more stricter security.
At the Italian Open in Rome, the week after the Hamburg Open, security was visibly tighter to reassure the players, though some remained unaffected.
Actually, I didn't think about it at all because I knew that they were putting security there and they were being really careful about it. So I didn't like feel in danger or anything.
But it's almost impossible for tournament organizers to keep the players away from their fans, even if they want greater protection, and they still remain vulnerable on the court.
During the tournaments, the guards behind the court, they're really there to protect the players from people asking for autographs in the middle of the match or asking for pictures, which they do all the time. You don't think to look for somebody with a knife, you know, or a gun. That just doesn't happen.
So what are tournaments to do? The organizers of the French Open have already said they will search spectators as they come into the grounds, and Wimbledon is reviewing its own security measures. But tennis has always prided itself on its openness, and the players in the whole have been able to meet their public without feeling threatened. It would be a shame if that freedom was lost and the players became faceless and isolated.
You know, not everyone is going to be, you know, trying to hurt you, and a lot of them are just kids, you know, who just, you're their idol, and all they want is your autograph. So, and I like signing for them because I know how it feels, you know, when I used to ask, you know, the top players for their autographs, and how it feels when you're let down when you don't get it.
Clearly, after the attack on Seles, things can never be the same again. Whether Seles can be the same remains to be seen. Physically, the injury is not too severe, but the recovery from mental stress could take longer. Dr. James Thompson, an expert in trauma, outlined some of the difficulties.
As the days pass, people begin to realize that they might have died, and that, I think, is a very damaging thing because it does make you very wary for the future. I think one can get over the initial psychological shock in a couple of days, but the wariness and the jumpiness which comes from having your life at risk may take much longer. We may be talking several months if it goes well, and obviously one might be talking about a permanent wariness, even stress disorders, if you don't manage to deal with it.
Seles is renowned for her determination and toughness on court. Still, it is asking a lot for a 19-year-old to put such a horrible incident behind her and continue as if nothing had happened. Some doubt if Seles will be able to do that. And with $7 million in prize money and 8 Grand Slam titles to her name, the world's #1 player will certainly question whether it is all worth that effort. Seles did not say when she would be back. Others can only speculate. We all look forward to seeing Monica back on the circuit as soon as possible. Coming up next, we'll take a look at some of the bright young stars in Asia who are moving up in the rankings. Stay with us.
Las Vegas Magic. Excalibur Hotel Casino Las Vegas. All rooms $39 Sunday through Thursday, now until July 1st. 6 marvelous restaurants. Non-stop.
Japanese tennis had a huge boost in 1991 at the Virginia Slims of Los Angeles. Kimiko Date's semifinal win over Gabriela Sabatini lifted her from 112th to 32nd in the world. Her victory was made all the more significant by the fact that Sabatini is a huge star in Japan, earning millions in endorsements. Date has continued to rise up the rankings ever since and captured her first tour title at the Japan Open in 1991. She's among a number of Japanese players in the tour whose faces and names are becoming more familiar to tennis fans. Sawamatsu, Hiraki, Miyagi, Kitawaki, tennis in Japan is big business. There's big money involved, and that means that more tournaments are being held there than ever before. This year there are 5, including the $750,000 Pan-Pacific blockbuster event. But tennis in Asia is no longer centered on Japan. The Asian leg of the tour begins in Tokyo, then moves on to Thailand, Malaysia, and Indonesia. Tennis in Asia has grown considerably over the last 10 years, and today players can compete in satellite and challenger events for up to 40 weeks of the year. The recent appearance of the $100,000 Kraft Tour events in Southeast Asia has provided the local players with the invaluable experience of competing against the tour professionals.
Saya rasa itu sangat membantu, dan terutama untuk junior-junior kita yang ada di negeri, di dalam negeri.
I think it helps
mereka bisa
the players
melihat
a lot,
juga cara-cara
especially the country's junior players,
pemain-pemain
because
profesional
they're
yang
able to
sudah
watch professional players
banyak
and
pengalaman
can
di
therefore
tour,
learn
ya.
a lot
Jadi kita
from them.
bisa mengambil contoh yang baik dari mereka.
More and more Asian players are starting to prove themselves in the professional circuit. And Yayuk Basuki of Indonesia is one who is rapidly making a name for herself. After just 2.5 years in the tour, Basuki became the first Indonesian player ever to win a professional tournament. She also captured her first tour title in 1992. And one local journalist says she's the kind of example her country needs.
Terus terang saya katakan bahwa tampilnya Yayuk Basuki sebagai pemain dunia.
To be honest, the appearance of Yayuk Basuki as a world-class player has attracted many young, promising Indonesian players.
Seperti yang Anda ketahui, sekarang tenis di Indonesia
Tennis is the third most popular sport in Indonesia, after football and badminton.
Bola kaki, bulu tangkis.
Only 3 or 4 years ago, tennis ranked 5th in popularity, but now it has moved to 3rd position.
Bahkan 4 tahun, itu tenis berada di posisi yang kelima.
Basuki's success has not only increased the profile of tennis in Indonesia, she's become a national hero. She confirmed her status with title victories in both Pattaya and Jakarta. And she's proved there's no excuse for lack of success.
The Asian players probably had a little bit of a thing about they could never be as good as the Americans or the Europeans because of the physique or the lack of events and so on and so forth. I think they hide a little bit behind this, we're Asians, so we're not expected to do well. But I think now they can see that there is success out there. I think they can be as tough as anybody.
One promising young Indonesian hoping to prove that point is Romana Tedjakusuma. She's just 16 years old and hopes she can be among a new generation of tennis stars in her country. With the help of Basuki's former doubles partner, Suzanna Wibowo, Tedjakusuma looks set to follow in the footsteps of her heroine, who was voted Indonesian Athlete of the Year in 1991. These possible Asian stars of the future are among a growing number who, inspired by Yayuk Basuki, are choosing to take up tennis rather than badminton, the national sport. And Basuki also believes that her success at the top level has pushed the authorities in her country into providing better facilities and more help for up-and-coming young players.
Most of the people want to play tennis, most of the young people, juniors and stuff. So I think it's really getting much better compared like a couple years ago. I think maybe the reason also because first time I met, I'm the one from my country can get into the top 50 in the tour. So I think it's kind of opened their eyes, open the federation, stuff like that. So they're thinking, much better right now. They're thinking the future. Yeah.
And Asian tennis on the whole is looking to the future. Opportunities for junior players are good. They can play for 35 weeks of the year, and the top tournament is the Reebok Challenge, a large junior event with the finals taking place in Hong Kong. But even though the chances are there, attitudes towards professional tennis in the East are more cautious than the West. Young players are still faced with a certain amount of pressure to follow a more orthodox career. But interest in the game is continuing to expand. And for aspiring Asian players, a career in tennis is becoming not only more acceptable, but more accessible as well, with many big-name companies now eager to sponsor both new players and tournaments. And the growing economy in Far Eastern countries should help to ensure the continuing growth of Asian tennis. On a recent leg of the Asian Tour, homegrown talent came through. Kimiko Date earned a triumph on her home turf. Yayuk Basuki followed up victory in Thailand with a straight sets win over Ann Grossman in her hometown of Jakarta. Australian Nicole Provis broke the Asian monopoly to take the title in Kuala Lumpur. And this lady is proving unbeatable, following her Lipton title with 3 more wins over Sabatini and Amelia Island, over Martinez in her hometown in Barcelona, and over a subdued Graf in Hamburg, Arantxa Sanchez Vicario. There was a first career clay court title, no, not for the dog, but for Brenda Schultz of the Netherlands. And the historic Foro Italico in Rome hosted the 50th Women's Championships at the Italian Open. Gabriela Sabatini beat the #1 seed Arantxa Sanchez Vicario in the semifinals. Then she had to meet another Spaniard in the final, Conchita Martinez. Martinez won her opening game at love, then held break point in the second. But Sabatini held on, and then a marathon third game followed. In front of her usual band of fanatical supporters, Sabatini held break point 9 times. Martinez, with a resilient baseline style and powerful forehand, stayed in the game. After 26 minutes and 13 deuces, Sabatini finally broke on the 9th attempt to make it 2-1 in the first set. Sabatini gained a psychological edge. She broke her opponent 3 more times and served for the first set at 5-4. Martinez held her off and went on to take the set 7-5. Still, Sabatini wasn't beaten yet. It was her serve, though, that let her down. She lost 7 of her last 8 service games. The Argentinian up against it. The Spaniard, sensing victory, looked for her first tournament win in 16 tries. And with Martinez 5-1 up, she had match point and was set for her most prestigious victory yet. Martinez's win was the first by a Spaniard since the very first Italian Open 63 years ago. Next up, the changes in the Kraft Tour rankings and the Nagelsen know-how. Another tip about doubles play. This time, it's the I formation. Tour points looks like this. Jennifer Capriani drops down into 10th place. Amanda Kutzer moves up 2 places to number 8. The injured Monica Seles falls to 5th place. After her victory in Rome, Conchita Martinez jumps to 4th. Steffi Graf drops from the top spot to number 2, and is replaced at the top by Arantxa Sanchez Vicario. And in the doubles, Pam Shriver and Liz Smiley drop to 5th place. While another American-Australian combination, Lori McNeil and Renee Stubbs, rise to 3rd. Jana Novotna and Larissa Nealon move up to 2nd, but there's no change at the top. Now it's time for the Nagelsen Know-How, a tip for your doubles play with Betsy Nagelsen. Today's topic, the I formation.
Welcome to the beautiful Ritz-Carlton at Kapalua on the island of Maui. Tennis is a game of options. If you're a good player, you really have many options. When playing most shots, you can go cross-court, down the line, or toss up a lob. But some players are confused by all the options, especially when playing an I formation doubles team. My partner and I play the I formation occasionally because it puts so much pressure on the returner. With the net player in this position, it's going to distract most returners, and now she has to guess which way my partner is going once I serve. She's worrying about my serve and movement at the net. If she guesses wrong or hits a weak return, my partner has an easy volley winner. I believe this also gives the serving team conviction. It's a very aggressive formation. The serving team seems more focused, with the net player moving in a predetermined direction. When you're serving in this formation, serve down the middle, so your partner gets a return to attack. And be careful not to hit your partner with your serve. That could end the use of this formation.
It is quite easy to be a big fish in the little sporting pond of Belgium, as Sabine Appelmans has found out over the last 3 years. The 21-year-old left-hander might not be a big name outside her own country, which has a population of 10 million, but having won back-to-back tournaments in the U.S. in 1991, Appelmans returned to find out that overnight she had become the center of attention.
I remember I got out of the plane and there was all those television stations and radio people. I was really tired when I got back, and it was actually the first week it was just too much. I had to appear on television shows, and well, I didn't have to, but I mean, people wanted to see me, and it was nice in a way, but it was also very tiring, and it was well, it was a nice experience, yeah.
Belgium is not renowned for its tennis prowess, but Appelmans has been knocking on the door of the top 20 for 3 years now, and in 1991 confirmed her potential by winning 2 successive tournaments. Victory in Phoenix, Arizona was followed by a straight set win over Katrina Adams in Nashville, where the left-hander's clever use of spin and angle left the American flat-footed. Since then, she has reached the final of the Japan Open and won her 3rd title in Pattaya last year. Back home, she has twice been named Belgian Sportswoman of the Year and Woman of the Year by the readers of a national magazine. But she's hardly allowing the fame to go to her head.
It's just, I think, because we don't have really a lot of people who are involved in international things, it makes it special. Like for the people in Belgium, that I'm performing well in other countries, that they hear I'm playing well in America or Australia. Or for them, it's nice because we're just a little country.
Appelmans began playing at the age of 7 on a neighbor's court, and her potential was quickly spotted as she became a pupil of a special school for gifted athletes. In 1989, at the age of 17, she turned professional. Being one of the few top international sportswomen in her country has its advantages. The federation still pays for her travel and her coach. Perhaps the biggest moment of the young Belgian's brief career so far came on center court at Wimbledon last year, when she was beaten but by no means disgraced by Monica Seles, the #1 seed. Appelmans was delighted with her display.
I tried to concentrate really on the match, and I just walked out there and I said, oh, okay, I'm just gonna try to do my best. I'm just gonna go for my shots, and that's it. The feeling is it's hard to describe. I was just probably a little bit nervous, and I was just happy to be out there.
Besides being a world-class tennis player from Belgium, there is one other curiosity about Appelmans. She plays tennis left-handed, but is actually a right-hander.
Just started playing tennis left-handed because my friend plays tennis left-handed, and I wanted to be with her in a group. And I was only 6 years old, and I really wanted to be with her. I didn't know any of the others. So I said, okay, I'll just hold my racket in my left hand, and I'll try to play like that. And that's how I started playing, and I still play left-handed. I probably play better right-handed than most of the players play left-handed.
He said I remind...
The French Open at Roland Garros. And then the tour moves on to England for 2 grass court tournaments prior to the championships at Wimbledon. We'll have all the results on the circuit next time on Kraft Tour Tennis Magazine. Kraft Tour Tennis Magazine has been brought to you by New...